Hello guys, how are you? This is Joe Arcaya again. And our topic for today is how COVID-19 is affecting applications to visit, work, or study in Canada. So since the pandemic hit, there are lots of changes happening when you're coming into Canada as a visitor or a work permit, or even if you're a citizen that you're coming back here in Canada. So we're just gonna tackle the measures that are new and you need to follow when you are coming when you're coming in Canada. So let's go over the website of the government here. So all the informations that I'm going to give you here is on the description below. The link of the website, it's from the government website, from the canada.ca /English/immigration refugees citizenship /services /visit Canada HTML. So let's go over through it, and so we are you will be familiarized of what to do when you're coming back, or when you're coming back in Canada as a worker or a student, or if you're visiting a family here. So let's just read what's on the website here. So visit Canada, find out what document you need to travel, visit family and friends, do business or transit through Canada, and how to extend your stay. So COVID-19 is affecting applications to visit, work, or study in Canada. If you meet the criteria for the travel exemption and you want to apply to come to Canada, there are changes to the application process. So there is a link here that you can just click here to learn more, and it will drive you to the other page, which what you need to do. So let's go on that thing first, because there is very important notes here that needs to be that you needs to know. So you can travel to Canada only if you are exempt from travel restriction and are coming for an essential purposes. So if you're coming here just for pleasure or tourist, I think there are some changes every day. There are some changes to just go over with the website here. So this is the important thing that everyone needs to know, even you're a Canadian citizen, or if you are immigrant, or if you're a visitor, or as a temporary worker here. So there is a thing here, find a thing here that's called ArriveCAN. So you must use ArriveCAN before checking in at the airport or crossing the border to submit your travel and contact information, quarantine plan, COVID-19 symptoms self-assessment. So please bring your ArriveCAN receipt, electronic or paper, with you to show the border services of officers upon arrival. So what is this ArriveCAN? And if you go to here in the website, you must use ArriveCAN. So just click this one. It's an app. So this is an app where you can download from the App Store and use ArriveCAN to enter Canada, to provide mandatory travel information on the after your entry into Canada. It only takes minutes to help keep each other safe. So when you click this one, let's try to click. So this is what it says here. ArriveCAN privacy statement. So you just read the privacy here. It's gonna take your personal information. So travel entering Canada via all modes, air, land, marine, or rail, are mandated to provide information, including contact and travel information, quarantine plan, information related to their arrival at their quarantine, isolation, location, as well as whether they have symptoms of COVID-19 when entering Canada and during their 14 days quarantine isolation period. In the air mode, the quarantine plan, including contact information, must be provided before a traveler boards a flight to Canada. This personal information is mandatory information required under a Quarantine Act and the emergency orders that apply to persons entering Canada and or to fulfill a request by a screening officer, quarantine officer, or other public health official on behalf of the chief public health officer. So privacy notice, just read this one here. How your information is used and disclosed. So it's everything here. I don't want to read this everything here. Just go over to the privacy statement that the apps or the government of Canada has given here. So how your information is used and disclosed, refusal to provide information. So what will happen if there's a refusal? Once a person have entered Canada, if mandatory information has not been provided when it is legally required, additional measures under the Quarantine Act may be applicable, such as a requirement to undergo a health assessment. Individuals could also be charged with an offense under the Quarantine Act for failing to provide the required information. Alternatively, enforcement authorities also have discretion to issue a ticket under the Contravention Act. So you'll, and I think you don't have a choice here but to follow the quarantine Act, of course, right? It's for the safety for everyone. And providing false information, providing or misleading a statement is also an offense under the Quarantine Act for which you could be charged. Alternatively, a ticket may be issued under the Quarantine Act. So you write under the Privacy Act. In addition to protecting personal information, there is a right to request access to and request correction of one's own personal information as provided for under the Privacy Act, and to file a complaint with the Privacy Commissioner and those other legal remedies. If just go to the there's a link here that you can email or contact them. And all right, so those are the additional measures, safety measures for the COVID-19 when you are entering here in Canada. So let's go back here. So visitor who can enter Canada as a visitor, what to do if you are eligible to travel, how to unite with immediate family, and what to do if your visitor status is expiring. So these are the previous rules here. Temporary workers, international students, and there are additional informations here that you need. That will guide you throughout the process during this pandemic days. Due to the impacts of the coronavirus disease, we are temporarily changing how you apply. Are prioritizing applications from people who are eligible to travel to Canada, can't process applications normally, can't provide accurate processing time. So there is a abnormality of the processing time compared before. Of course, right? It's understandable. The additional time of the officers and health officers that they're going into checking everyone's health and safety is the additional burden here. For temporary workers, how to apply work permit, who can enter Canada to work temporary or temporary workers already in Canada and working without a permit. So let's check about here if you are outside Canada. We recognize that the travel restriction will have an impact on many people who can travel to Canada right now. These restrictions stop most discretionary travel to Canada. International Experience Canada, the information on this page also applies to International Experience Canada, but participants and applicants should also find out how COVID-19 is affecting IEC. So there are information also here that you can check. Applying for International Experience Canada. If you want to enter Canada, to activate your port of entry or letter of introduction, so ArriveCAN, you must use ArriveCAN before checking in. And that's we tackled a while ago. So as of January 7, 2021, it's about the COVID-19 testing required for people flying into Canada. Air travelers 5 years of age or older will be required to present a negative COVID-19 test result to the airline prior to boarding international flights bound for Canada. So as of May 8, 2020, that was last year, if you're taking part in working holiday, young professional or international co-op categories, you can come to Canada if you have a valid job offer, which includes a written note from your employer in Canada that says their business is continuing to operate, whether essential or not. You'll start work after the 14-day mandatory quarantine. A POE or port of entry, letter of introduction, proof of adequate health coverage. So Health Insurance Canada Border Services officers will check for health care coverage at a port of entry. If you do not have sufficient coverage, you may be denied entry into Canada. So having a valid provincial or territorial health card is not enough. Your health care coverage, private or employer-based, must be valid for your entire stay in Canada. Cover hospitalization and the cost of returning to your home country. So I think this one is more on the security or securing the health services of the Canada and between the health services of the incoming or the participant of the IEC to come into Canada, and it's health and safety measures that they're doing right now. So it is these are the changes. So if you have a work permit and want to re-enter Canada, you do not need to prove you have a valid job offer to re-enter Canada. If you're outside the country temporarily and you already landed in Canada, activate your port of entry letter of introduction and have a work permit. So if you have a work permit and want to re-enter Canada, and I think that's fine. And when you re-enter, you must quarantine for 14 days. Expiring port of entry letter of introduction. A port of entry letter of introduction is valid for 1 year after its date of use. Once a letter is issued under the IEC program, it is considered a participation and cannot be cancelled. So contact the immigration, or it says here contact us. So just click here. When you click the contact us, I think go let's see what happened here. contact us, and it's more on. All right. So it doesn't says anything here. It's just a web form. Contact us online. All right. So contact the CIC if your letter expires in the next 30 days. So don't wait. So before 30 days, you should contact them. Don't let this port of entry letter expire. And you cannot travel due to disruption caused by COVID-19. You could be eligible for an extension of your current POE letter for up to 12 months. The length of your extension will depend on whether you have already received an extension on your POE letter, and if applicable, your immigration or medical examination on file can be reassessed and extended. So the decision will be made on a case-by-case basis at the discretion of the immigration officer. Alright, so if your letter expires in 60 days or more, please wait until a month before expiry to contact us. So if it's 60 days, it has to be 30 days, right? And so that's what it says here. So if it's 60 days, well, you have to wait another 30 days. So extend your POE letter. You can ask to have your POE letter extended by using our web form. So when you go the click here, go to the website. I'm gonna put the link on the description below here. So select International Experience Canada from the drop-down menu and include as many details as possible. If you don't get a confirmation email from us, this does not mean we didn't receive it. Keep checking your IRCC account for updates. So if you can't start work in time, if you can't due to travel restriction, check with your employer to make sure that they're still willing to honor their work permit. So, and what else? So IEC participants in Canada, you need to maintain legal status in Canada at all times. Activating your work permit, you should not travel to a port of entry to apply directly to border services officers at this time, as this is not considered essential travel. You can now activate your IEC work permit from inside Canada if you're a foreign national, you've been approved for an IEC work permit, you've received a POE letter of introduction, and your application was processed outside of Canada. So how to activate your IEC work permit, and when you click that here, you just follow the instruction. So if you follow the instruction to apply for a work permit from outside Canada, in this case you filled out the form called Application for Work Permit Made Outside of Canada. So if your application is approved, you'll get an approval letter that says you're allowed to work in Canada. This letter is called the Port of Entry Letter of Introduction. After that, make sure you're eligible and then ask to get your work permit. Alright, so who's eligible? And to get work permit without leaving Canada, you must meet these 3 requirements. You applied for a work permit, you receive your letter of introduction. If you receive a passport request letter, follow the instruction in that letter, and then wait for your letter of introduction to arrive. So you have a valid status in Canada. If your status has expired, you must restore your status before you request your permit. Alright, so how to request your permit? If you're eligible, You must follow these steps once you have your letter introduction or letter of introduction. So contact the IRC, the immigration through the IRCC web form. When you fill out your entry or your inquiry section, you must copy the text below to ensure that we prioritize your application. So avoid delays. You must include the code A11 exam when you copy and paste the text below. We can't prioritize your request without this code. So number 3, upload a copy of your letter of introduction with your request. Number 4, we'll review your request and contact you if you need more information. We'll mail you your work permit. The work permit will outline the type of work you can do, the employer you can work for, where you can work, how long you can work. So those are the information here. Alright, on the next one, there's lots of topics in here that needs to be discussed. This is for foreign workers. And what about the international students? Let's check what's for the national students. Well, for the visitors, we haven't what we have here for the visitors. So coronavirus disease for the COVID-19 visitors to study visitors to Canada. We recognize that the travel restriction will have an impact on many people who can't travel to Canada right now. This restriction stopped most discretionary travel to Canada. Due to the impact of the coronavirus disease, we are temporarily changing how you apply. So, are prioritizing application from people who are eligible to travel to Canada, can process applications normally, and that's we have read a while ago. So what about for those who want to visit Canada? Who is eligible to travel to Canada? Foreign national, including United States citizens, can travel to Canada as visitor only if they're eligible. So restrictions vary depending on where you're coming from. So this includes all the U.S. citizens. And if you're coming to Canada to unite with family, there are documents you need and instruction to follow in order to unite with your family. Find out what you need to do to unite with your family, immediate or extended family. So there's a link here. So if you want to visit Canada to unite with a family, so there are guides here. We updated the application for authorization and mandatory, and the statutory declaration form. The form can now be signed if you downloaded the form before 3 p.m. on October 9, 2020. Please download and complete it again before you take it to an official who is legally authorized to receive a solemn declaration. So that's a very technical one. Just go over the website here and check that one. So how to unite with immediate family members who are Canadian citizens, people registered under Canada Indian Act or permanent residents. And these are the immediate family, the common law partner, dependent children or dependent child, guardian or tutor, parent or step parent, dependent child of a dependent child. So what to do to unite with your immediate family member? So alright, all the instructions are here. Follow all. So you do not need a written authorization from us confirming that you are exempt from the travel restriction. However, to board your flight to Canada, you must follow all airline requirements and pass a health check. Of course, that's the number one rules today. Tell the airline that you are exempt from the travel restriction. Make sure you have a valid travel document and present proof to show that you are an immediate family member of a Canadian citizen, person registered under Canada, Indian Act, or Canadian permanent residence. Show that you're eligible to travel at this time. You must be able to provide evidence of one of the following. You'll stay in Canada for 15 days or more. You're traveling for a non-discretionary purpose. So documents to use as proof that you're an immediate family member. You must have two types of documents. One that shows your immediate family member's status as a Canadian citizen, person registered under Canada's Indian Act, or a permanent resident. One that shows your relationship to the family member. So a document that shows your immediate family member Canadian citizenship status under the Canadian Act or permanent resident status. These documents include a Canadian passport, proof of Canadian citizenship such as citizenship certificate, citizenship card, or provincial territorial birth certificate, secure certificate of Indian status, certificate of Indian status, or temporary confirmation of registration document. So a Canadian permanent resident card or a Canadian permanent resident travel document. So example of documents include a marriage certificate or proof of common law status, a birth certificate, a confirmation of permanent residence for one of the following the family class, the 1 year, 1 year window of opportunity provision, other documents that shows an immediate family connection. For example, correspondence from us showing a spousal sponsorship application in progress. Document that shows a shared home address. So there's a common address that proves that you live on the same roof. So how to unite with extended family members who are Canadian citizen, people registered under Canada Indian Act. So it's lots of reading here, and these are the normal process before. So there are only exemption here because of the coronavirus. All right. So next here is for the students. All right. So the next one here is these international students. Let's take a look up the international students. How to apply for a study permit. Who can enter Canada to study. Students already in Canada working as a student, and post graduation work permit. So let's see what's new here during this coronavirus. On this page, travel exemptions and restriction for international students. So COVID-19 testing required for people flying into Canada. As of January 7, 2021, air travelers 5 years of age or older will be required to present a negative COVID-19 test result to the airline prior to boarding international flights bound for Canada. So see the news release for air travelers. So there's a link here, and this will be your guide. They have news releases here, and you have to check this every time or time to time because there are lots of changes happening from time to time in Canada. All right, so we're not gonna read that news releases. I'm just showing it to you. So mandatory 14-day quarantine or isolation. Everyone entering Canada must follow the mandatory isolation or quarantine requirements. Not respecting the mandatory requirements is a serious offense with consequences and penalties. All right, so if you cross the border into Canada regularly for school, to be able to enter Canada, you must have a study permit and be attending a DLI with COVID-19 readiness plan. So what's this DLI? And okay, DLI, designated learning institution reopening to international students. So COVID-19 readiness plan for DLIs to be able to reopen to international students who aren't currently in Canada. DLIs must have a COVID-19 readiness plan approved by their province or territory that protects the health and safety of all students and the surrounding community. So provide information and support of international students about how they can get the items they need for their quarantine, like food and medication, health insurance, remaining healthy while in Canada. Alright, so if you cross the border into Canada regularly for school, students who cross the border daily or regularly for their classes must or may be exempt from having to quarantine. Find out if the province or territory in which your DLIs is located has approved the exemption. So, alright, in mandatory quarantine, isolation for 14 days is required. Find out if your DLI is approved. So there is a section here, primary or secondary school, post-secondary school, and these are the measures, health and safety measures that are new in Canada. Alright guys, so check the description below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, the Canadian Experience Class. So it helps a lot. This information is available on the description below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And this is Joe R. Kaya.